Hello, welcome to the third and final video in the Teacher Feedback System series. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be taking this pre-existing code that we've got here and we're going to be adding functions to make it more efficient. In a nutshell, functions can be used to repeat multiple lines of code without you having to rewrite them. So you can write a function which will say be 100 lines and then call the function over and over again, but instead of having to write hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lines more code, you only have to sum it up with one line of code. So what we're going to do is we're going to create our first function here and we're going to call it menu. So you can see here straight away the text has gone blue, and that's going to be the name of our function. We've got a pair of brackets here which can be used to pass variables in it, and then we've got a colon here, and it's very much like the syntax for setting up an if statement. So you can see here if is saying to Python, right, this is going to be something special. The statement, which is in brackets, we've got a set of brackets there, and a colon there. So, like an if statement, menus need to be indented. So you need to make sure that you press tab to show what's going to go in there. And what we're going to do now is a little bit of rearranging of the code that we've already got. So, what we're going to do is we are going to be taking all these if statements here, and we're going to be putting them within the function. So then you can see what's going to happen is that with these if statements we're going to have another layer of indentation, which means you just need to make sure that you're pressing tab twice instead of once. So at the moment, if you look at how this is laid out, everything at the moment is within this def menu here. But what we want to do is separate the function up, separate this into separate functions. Now the first obvious thing you can do is call the function after each name. So for example, this is the English section, so you might think that we can just type def English and colon, but then you need to start thinking about naming conventions. What's going to happen within this function here is that we're seeing English.append stud name, which is obviously what we're referring to up here with our list, but Python won't understand that. So what we're going to call it English section. I know it's a bad name, but you can probably think of one better yourself. So at which point it will be able to differentiate what this English means here. So then we're going to be a bit naughty here and just save a bit of time and copy and paste these, but then we're going to be changing them for each suitable area. So for example, this is going to become maths. You've guessed it, this is going to become science, computing, and then we come to this section here where it's going to show everything. If we just think, oh, it's going to show everything, it's going to show all, let's call it all, you can see, like it's gone with the print command here, it's gone purple. So that means that's a reserved word. That's a command already built within Python. So we're just going to call it display all, which we can use. So what we're going to do here, in these different sections of the if statement here, is we're going to call each section. So all we're going to do for this is English section brackets, and that's all we need to do. And again, we're going to be a bit cheeky, and we're going to call this one here maths, this one science, this one computing, and yep, you've guessed it, display all goes at the end. So now when we run it, nothing's still going to happen, because what's happened is we've created our lists here, created a function called menu, one called English, called maths, one called science, one called computing, one called display all, but we've not initially said, right, we want to run this, we want to make sure this is happening. So all we need to do at the bottom is type menu, and then what will happen is it will go through this code and then see, right, okay, at the end this is the first thing that we need to be running. So if you press F5, we can display this, say Eng for English, Bob, 80s in year group 87, needs to do more homework. But at the moment it's still just going to be doing that. All we can do now at the bottom of each function is add menu, and if we add this to each of the different sections, what this will do is after it's run each one, it will go back to the menu. So if we show this, E for English, Bob is in year 7, more homework, it goes back up so we can have Adam in year 8, more homework. So there we have it. I hope that's been helpful for you. Lists, functions